good day. So this is Ms. May Olga, your instructor in your CWTS. Okay, so I made this blog to conduct my lecture on this subject. So I hope everybody has already entered into our Google Classroom, and I hope that upon watching this video you will be knowledgeable or informed of what is our subject all about. Then later on I will discuss to you what are your requirements and what will be your possible output out of this subject. Okay, again, I am Olga, your subject teacher, your instructor for this subject. Okay, I will be discussing the component of the CWTS. Okay, first, our first topic would be self-awareness and values development. Okay, so I already made the first activity, the introduction of oneself. Then I hope that upon answering those, I will know you, as my student, your expectation also to your classmates, and then your expectations to me. Okay, for the scope of instruction, so we have the nature of yourself, personal and development plan, the roots of a Filipino character, okay, nationalism and patriotism program. We have good citizenship values, example, pagkamakadiyos, pagkamakatao, pagkamakabayan, at pagkamakakalikasan. Okay, for the next component would be leadership training, the concepts of leadership, human behavior, leading direction, communication, motivation, okay, leadership style, teamwork, time management, and decision making. Okay, for the third component, so we will have the dimension of development. Okay, for global, national, and local awareness in terms of health, especially in these trying times that we are facing a global health crisis. So education, so the enhancement of instructional support, materials, and facilities. So we have entrepreneurship, recreation, morals of the citizen, and other social welfare concerns like voters, education, and poverty alleviation. Okay, for the fourth component, so we have community exposure agency visits. Okay, first is the nature of community work, development of community work, so approaches in community work, community development projects, and community practices and community building. For our fifth component, we will have a community needs assessment. Okay, knowing the community needs assessment processes, needs assessment survey, actual conduct of online community needs assessment. For our sixth component, so we have community service. The community services of any or combination of the following. First, online drug awareness campaign. Second, online awareness campaign on health, example, medical and dental. Third, online environmental awareness. Fourth, we have online awareness campaign on entrepreneurship. And last, we have online awareness campaign, culture affairs. Okay, for the last component, we will have the program evaluation. Okay, the fundamentals of a work plan, implementation process, monitoring and evaluation program, development of a work plan and implementation processes of monitoring and evaluation of the program. So these are the 7 components of our CWTS. Okay, for today, so I will be having a short lecture on the Filipino value system. Okay, what are values? Okay, before delving into the discussion of values, Filipino values in particular, it is worth analyzing the word itself. The word value has its root in the Latin word valere, which means to be strong and vigorous. This proceeds from the premise that a human person has to have strength or valor in every endeavor. It is the basis on which his strength in facing the challenges of life should be directed. Dr. Thomas Andres in 1986 defined values as things, persons, ideas, or goals which are important to life. Anything which enables life to be understood, evaluated, and directed. Okay, on the other hand, we have Edgar Brightman defines values as whatever is liked, prized, esteemed, desired, approved, or enjoyed by anyone at any time. It is the actual experience of enjoying a desire, object, or activity. Hence, value is an existing realization of desire. So collectively, the values of a society would be the standards or principles for which an act is judged to be what is right or wrong, correct or incorrect. As such, it is the goal to set for every member of the community to attain what is desirable. In other words, values in society give meaning and direction to every individual's life and influence in human behavior. Okay, based on these definitions, we can say that values are those which are considered by the society as desirable and important and have attained the status as moral impetus behind every action of each member geared towards a desired goal. So what are Filipino values? Okay, can you cite an example of Filipino values? Okay, significantly, Filipino values would be the standards or principles set forth by the Filipino society as basis for what is right or wrong. The principles on which every member of the Filipino society should persevere to attain in order to reach the ultimate realization of his life regarding this person in relation to his family and the society in general. So, why do we study this Filipino values? So what is the importance of studying our own value? In shaping of the Philippine society into a successful and progressive nation would depend on understanding and appreciating the positive side of Filipino values and how they are applied to attain such goal. Thus, it is imperative that a full understanding and appreciation of the positive side of our very own principles be made and used for our personal and national success. That is why we need to study these Filipino values, because in the end, through the development of and use of Filipino values, we may bring out the best in the Filipino society in general and in our individual self. So we will now discuss understanding Filipino values and culture. Okay, the Filipino society is composed of a mixture of different races and cultures, many of which influence the lifestyle and values being practiced in Philippine community. Among those influenced the Filipino culture and values are our ancestors. The Malays and Indons are colonies, the Spaniards and the Americans and the nationals of other countries who have dealt with Philippine society through trade, the Chinese, and the Indians. The resulting blend of these mixtures of influences, which are sometimes conflicting, is uniquely the Filipino in character. See how we are unique because we are a blend of different cultures. Because as we know, as we go back to our history, we are colonized by different colonizers. Most of the prominent Filipino values are the result of the blend of the rich Christian values of Europe, okay, the pragmatic and democratic values of America, and the spiritual values of Asia. So that's made us very unique. The basic social unit of the Philippine society, as we all know, is the family. It is here where values and principles are nurtured and imbibed in each and every member of the family. The tradition of close family ties has long been practiced and considered as the foundation of Philippine society. So these close family ties may have a positive effect to us, but I think there is also a negative one, because as you've observed, we have this what we call extended family. So you may have your own family, but you're still staying in the house of your mother, in the house of your own family. And if your sisters and brothers get married, then they will be staying again in the same house. So the more the merrier. So that's how close family ties Filipino culture has been observed in the Filipino society. So much in the effect of this tradition that members of the Constitutional Commission of the 1987 Philippine Constitution deemed it proper to include it as a state policy and a chapter in the fundamental law of the land. Thus, Article 15, Section 1 of the said Constitution provides that the state recognizes the Filipino family as the foundation of the nation. It is the family that the Filipino individual introduced to the concept of the structure and hierarchy of power. He is always reminded to submit to the authoritarian familial setup where rules are prescribed, especially for younger members of the family. The Filipino family is structured in a way that autocratic leadership rests on the elder members, where the young submit themselves to the decision of the family elders. So he is indoctrinated of the tradition of primacy of the extended family over that of the individual, and that the only source of emotional, economic, and moral support of the family. The Filipino individual identifies himself with his family. Right from the childhood, he is made to believe that he belongs to the family. The Filipino individual is always encouraged to get advice from his parents and submit to his parents' direction, counsel, and advice. He is admonished to be good because any disgrace that he commits is a disgrace to the family. In times of misfortune, he is assured to his family's support, sympathy, and love. Thus, Filipino society, in contrast with Western societies, prefers a rather structured way of life, not where he can be asserted of his own individuality. However, this modern era is catching up with the Filipino society. Changes must occur of the Filipino society to survive in a changing world. The Filipino society will have to keep up with the changes brought by the modernization. The society must prepare itself for a serious re-evaluation of its values. In most instances, it will have to break away from its past and adjust itself towards the future. So we will now be discussing, or we will now be talking about what are those Filipino characteristics. no, or those Filipino values. No, the characteristics that makes the Filipino vary from different society. So we have an example of this, of the value of utang na loob, or the depth of gratitude. Okay, the value of utang na loob, the altruistic drawing of the interior goodness of a person by returning a debt of gratitude, by itself positive. However, when one is coerced to honor a debt of gratitude and return the favor, then it becomes a negative. So due to the ambivalence of the Filipino values, they have the potential of being used for good or evil, or there is a positive and negative effect, or a positive and negative outcome. They may either help or hinder personal and national development, depending on how they understood or practiced. That is why it is very important to study our own Filipino culture, our own Filipino values, our own characteristics, because it will affect you individually and the nation as a whole. Okay, first, the first is, as I've said, is utang na loob. There is no specific translation that can approximate the meaning of this Filipino value of utang na loob. Debt of gratitude is a lean excuse of a translation because it does not even approximate the fertile concept of the Filipino loob. Why do we need to pay our utang na loob? No, that's a kind of question that I'm always also asking myself. Mas madali tayong makabayad ng utang na pera kaysa sa utang na loob. And this utang na loob doesn't have a cost, I guess. Because it may be a form of service, it may be a form of help, lend a hand, a help. It may be in any form. But utang na pera, ay pera yon. There is a worth out of that. If you kung nangutang ka ng 20,000, babayaran mo yun ng 20,000 o 20,000 plus interest. Pero itong utang na loob, ewan ko kung para sa inyo, alam nyo kung paano to bayaran. Because sometimes, other people use this for personal gain. For example, because next year would be the national and local election, you have a problem now. You have a problem on your connection in the Zaneco or in the Samzoreco for other areas, or the electric provider in your community. There's one person who knows someone there, and then you ask for help to reconnect and to have your electricity back in your home. He helped you. That person helped you. So that certain help is, I don't know if it has a work or it has a labor cost, because it's a help, because you ask for it, and that makes it utang na loob. Am I right? And then for this coming election, that person will be running for mayor or barangay captain or for possible congressman. Then what will you do to pay your utang na loob? Then you vote for him or you vote for her, even though there are other candidates who are most qualified for that certain position. And because of that utang na loob, you cast your vote to pay the help he gave you a year ago. So, however, utang na loob may be interpreted in a positive outlook if it is used with the concept of justice, truth, humanity, or dignity. It would reflect the beautiful aspect of a Filipino character. Thus, this altruistic feeling most voluntarily come from within the person himself. Kusang loob. It should be, the kusang loob should not be demanded by coercing the person who has utang na loob. So, as blind sense of his judgment. And that's a pretty good example that I stated a while ago. Okay, next, for this Filipino character, I think this would be a negative one. This called bahala na. Bahala na. The character of a Filipino is bahala na. Filipinos by nature are a religious group of people. Bahala na sa Diyos. We always keep on praying, no? We believe in the Supreme Being. We believe in the Lord. We pray for Him. We praise Him. We thank Him for everything He's done for us. But do you really believe that the Supreme Being or the Lord God would help you without you doing the move? No, they believe in the Supreme Being. We, Filipino, believe in the Supreme Being who will take care of things for us. So the Filipinos is very religious, who has a saint to pray to each day of the week. So the term bahala na comes from the word bathala na. It reflects the Filipinos' dependence on the natural being and on faith. This tends to move toward the commonly conceived procrastination character of a Filipino. I think this has a negative effect because some of us will say, bahala na. Anong gagawin mo bukas? Mag-e-exam tayo. Bahala na. Bahala na si Lord. Yeah, we are religious. We keep on praying for Him. But there are also statements that bahala na si Batman. No? So, it might have really a negative effect on us. Because we procrastinate. We take it. Next is the manana habit. The manana habit can be traced back in the Spanish colonization era. The term manana is a Spanish word that means tomorrow. This is a Filipino trait that enforces procrastination, practice of putting off work to be done in the near future or in the last minute. This habit is exemplified by the mamaya na or the bukas na. And it's negative thing. Ningas kugon. The term ningas kugon translates to burning of kugon grass. As a Filipino trait, it means that Filipinos tend to have strong enthusiasm in the beginning of each work or endeavor but gradually slows down and lose their drive to work and finish the job. It is said that in the work of the Filipinos tend to do their job half-baked or leave it unfinished. Sometimes, we have this very skillful entrepreneurship mind. Now, we think of business, our own business, and then we invest. And then at the beginning, we tend to be very eager, in doing it. And then later on, nawala na. Hindi na natin na alagaan yung negosyo na dapat nating inaalagaan from the very beginning up to the end. Or example also is a project in your house or your individual career. Doon lang tayo sa simula kasi magaling. Di natin yung drive na galing sa simula hanggang katapusan, hanggang matapos. Dapat yun. So, we should be consistent. Hindi yung bukas na, yung mamaya na. Kaya yung mga estudyante ngayon, bukas na. Module lang yan. Bukas na, tapos deadline na. Meron din tayong amor propio. Okay. As a reinforcement to the Filipino trait of hiya or shame, Filipinos akin to the traditional attitude of saying face, amor propio is another Spanish term that means sense of self-esteem or self-respect. That prevents a person from swallowing his pride. It also means ego defensiveness or maintaining one's dignity and personal pride. According to the Philippine-Australia Business Council, amor propio often implies vindictive reaction to questioning an individual's action, integrity, or honor. Hihiya. Pride mo bula. Mga ganon. So, meron tayo niyan. Dami sa tindahan. Yung pride. Tapos, maraming bula. Kahit na alam natin nagkamali tayo, bumubula talaga yung sabon. Ma-pride eh. Hindi natin minsan natanggap na may kasalanan din tayo kaya nangyari yun. At dahil dito, at dahil sa hiya o yung personal pride na bumubula, nahayaan na lang natin yung mga bagay-bagay na mangyari. And for the last trait that I will be discussing would be the strength trait of the Filipino, this bayanihan one. Now, in an article entitled Filipino Culture Bayanihan, the Filipino value must have been retained. It described bayanihan as a core sense of Filipino culture. It is helping out one's neighbor as a community and doing a task together, thus lessening the workload and making the job easier. It is also called the community spirit. It is best exhibited when people wish to move locations in a rural area. The traditional Filipino house, bahay kubo, can be moved using a wooden poles which are carried from the old place to the new place. That is the best picture for a bayanihan one. Yung maglilipat bahay, yung bahay kubo nyo, itatransfer nyo sa ibang site. At dun yung bahay kubo nyo, kinikerry nung mga tao sabay-sabay tungo dun sa lugar kung saan yun ilalagay kung maglilipat kayo. So that's able-bodied men usually participated in such feats, while women stood and watched, causally chatting and cheering the men on. Afterwards, there will be a small gathering as a form of celebration and socialization. So this bayanihan trait or this bayanihan spirit is the strength of the Filipino people. That Filipino value of bayanihan made us very, the ability to survive, and bravely live through the hardest economic and social circumstances. Sabi nila, yung mga Pilipino daw ay matatatag. Hindi natitibag sa hamon ng buhay. Siguro dahil we are mixed in character, we are mixed in our values. Kahit nga yung mga OFW yung iba, gusto nila Pinay o Pinoy. Kasi yun meron tayong trait or meron sa kultura natin na wala sa iba. And that's made us a very good Filipino. So there are other strengths of a Filipino character, yung pakikipagkapwa-tao, yung family-oriented tayo, yung joy at humor, na kahit marami tayong problema, nakukuha pa nating tumawa. Yung flexibility and adaptability, hard work and industry, faith and religiosity, and the ability to survive. And there are also other weaknesses of the Filipino character. Extreme, personalism, which others would lead to graft and corruption or for personal interest. Next is extreme family-centeredness. Kaya yung minsan hindi na bahala na yung mga issue dyan kasi nakafocus lang ako sa aking pamilya. Hindi naman yun masama, pero nawawala yung extreme nationalism and patriotism natin doon. Lack of discipline also, and lack of initiative. We have that colonial mentality, the basic feeling of national inferiority that makes it difficult for them to relate to equal to Westerners. Masyado kasi nating nilulook down yung sarili natin. The kanya-kanya syndrome. So, kayo na dyan. Kanya-kanya na tayo. Kanya-kanyang buhay. Kanya-kanyang pangailangan. Kanya-kanyang sikap. Meron din yun. At saka yung lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. So, we should have more value of ourselves. Emphasis on form of more than a substance. I hope when watching this first lecture vlog of mine, you have came up with the vision of a great Filipino people or a great Filipino community. kung meron lang tayong matatag at matiwasay na pamumuhay sa ating komunidad, pakikisama sa ating kapwa-tao, walang problema. Kahit na itong COVID-19, kaya nating labanan kung tayo ay lalaban ng magkahawak kamay. But don't forget to wash your hands and maintain social distancing. Yung hawak kamay, hindi yun na physical. But that predicts the hawak kamay of being strong in fighting this pandemic. So, thank you very much for watching. I will upload another video tomorrow for the next topic of my lecture, and visit our Google Classroom for the activity on this video. So, thank you guys. Thank you, class.
I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.